Hi, Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here. Mention of the covenant, break of the seven seals. Brothers and sisters, this is a topic that's never been covered before. Even the preachers, the liars, the Pharisees, and whatever, they have never talked about it because they don't know what it means. Jacob's trouble. It says the time of unprecedented trouble would also be a time of Jacob's trouble. They don't even know what the time of unprecedented trouble means. It would be a time of Jacob's trouble, but Jacob will be delivered out of it. Now, who is Jacob? Jacob is the seed of Abraham. When you understand it. So it also be a time of Jacob's trouble, but he will be delivered out of it. This takes some explaining, brothers and sisters, and those of you who have been paying attention have some understanding of the angel key, then you may perhaps get it because you need some knowledge of the angel key to understand what this means. Though I can talk to it from a high level, but to really understand it, you have to understand how the key works. First, let me take a little diversion here. You see here? I'm going to make one small change, brothers and sisters. Let me back up here. One second here. There you go. That'll work. Okay. Okay, brothers and sisters. First, I want to give you a little background here. It talks about, do not think I came to bring peace on the earth. I did not come to bring peace but a sword. For I came to turn a son against his father, a daughter against her mother, and daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a person's enemies will be members of his household. So you need to understand and you're keen to understand this. Now, I'll put what they mean here. Now, the mother represents America. The father represents Britain, because, well, anyway. And the daughter and the son. So the daughter represents Russia. The son represents EU and Western Europe. And so since the son, right, so the daughter-in-law would be the one married to the son, right? So on a daughter level. But what this is telling you is that America is going to go to war with Russia. Britain is going to be at war with EU. And if Britain's at war with the EU, then the rest of America is also. Because remember, whatever America's at war, Britain is at war too. Then America's also going to be at war with their Christian blacks. This is what it's telling you. So the reason I'm bringing this up because everybody's nervous about this war going on with Russia. Well, America's not at war with Russia. See, Russia's at war with Ukraine, but America's not at war with Russia. That's not the war I've been talking about. That's not this war. This war is when America goes to war with Russia, which will happen after they go to war in the Middle East. That will precede this. So don't get all nervous and everything. That's not the war I've been talking about. America is not at war with Russia. This is just warming up. Just telling you how hot it's getting over there. Because it's getting hot here. It's also getting hot in the Middle East, which is off the radar now because this is taking precedence. That's all you hear in the news is about Russia invading Ukraine. But the background is that Israel is going all out to attack Iran, which will precede the actual war between America and Russia. Okay, so understand that. Let's move on. Now see here, we have a story. Let me kind of move this around a little bit. We have this story by Adam and Eve. Now I've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it in some detail now. Because they have a plan, and Master Muhammad has a plan, and Master Muhammad is the best of planners. See, Adam and Eve story, see, identify all the characters, the players there, the cast of characters. Adam and Eve was told not to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Now, I'm not showing the whole key here, but the knowledge of good was the Nation of Islam, and Elijah Muhammad. Knowledge of evil is the Christians under like T.J. Jakes and so forth, the black Christians. But they was told not to eat of them. That means if you eat, you consume, destroy them. They was told not to do that. So the day you do it, you will die. But the serpent convinced them that, oh, it's okay to do it. Now, I'm not going into detail about the serpent and all of that. But the point I'm trying to make here is that this was the plan. This is the European plan against us. This is the plan they have in mind right now. This is the plan they have in mind right now. See? Now, I'm not actually showing Jacob here, because Jacob represents the golden, right? Those of you familiar with the angel. However, with the Adam and Eve story, they go ahead and eat anyway. See? So, here we go. Eat anyway. That means they attack. That means their plan is to take out all black people. That's their planning right now. See, it says they're planning. It said let's destroy Israel as a nation. You know, destroy his name, make sure it's never remembered anymore. And that was it. But see, you don't understand who they're talking about. They're talking about us. See, it says it will come upon as a snare. It said their plan is to destroy us. It tells you that their plan was to board us. That didn't work to us in the river. Their plan to destroy us, and you would not see it coming. They said you would not see it coming. See. And so that's their plan. And this is the plan they have in motion right now. See? And then after they did that, right, then they could see. You have to understand, the angel key to understand that, because the two ones they covered, they have eyes, so now they can see. I'm not going into that kind of detail, but those of you familiar with this know what I'm talking about. Because let's back up here. Let me show you back up here. See, because in the angel, it has 7 eyes. These are one eyes, right? This is one eye, and this is one eye right here. So when this is one of the eye, and it's 7 all together. But I'm not showing the whole thing. I'm just showing you part of the key. I'm showing like the Earth part, right, up to the part of China and North Korea. Right. But these have eyes. This is just 7 here. This have eyes. This have not. So when you understand that, so now they have eyes. That's what I say. Once the eyes open, once they ate, then the eyes open. See, and then when the eyes open, they cover themselves, right? So these Iran and Syria is also called sackcloth. They're also called sackcloth in chapter 11. So they cover themselves. So the whole piece sequence is they was going to get the war with Iran, but they was going to take, before that happened, they was going to take us out. And we know the war with Iran is going to happen pretty soon, those of you who are paying attention. So they were going to take us out, destroy us. That's their plan. They're planning right now to destroy us. See, you don't see it. They got you NFL, all this BS shit they're doing, and they setting this whole thing with this COVID, because who's not, they say all these blacks ain't taking, they're setting this whole thing. I'm not going to all the details, but they're planning to destroy you, to get rid of you. If they was planning, it says they was, let's be shrewdly, they're shrewdly with them. So in other words, don't do it so they can see it. They won't see it coming. Like put a trap, put some bait on a trap. You be nice, hey buddy, how you doing? See, so you sneak up on them. You know, like the mafia thing. They send a family member, so you don't suspect it coming. They blow your brains out, so you can't see it. Oh man, I don't see nothing. You're not supposed to see it. That's the whole thing. You know, oh man, he's just making stuff up. Okay, whatever. You'll see in a minute. That's their plan. See. So understand this. Let's move on. Remember, this is their plan to take us out, and then the war in Iran would take place. Would take us out, right? And then they would go into war in the Middle East, take us out first. And then they would go to war in the Middle East. You see, take us out first, and then they're going to war in the Middle East. That's their plan. Mm-hmm. But Master Muhammad, he has a plan. He's the best of planners. And here we go here. Now, when you read chapter 6, the sixth seal, it says that the fig leaves, right? It says a great wind blew, right? Let me change something, brothers and sisters. There's a slight error here. I'm always so careful to do this, and now I end up saving the wrong document. So, okay, that. And then, yes, okay, there you go. Really, it's not quite exactly, but for the purpose of what we're doing, it'll work. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is pretty much where we are right now. See, I'm leaving Iran and Syria. They're actually covering the earth. I'm leaving it there so you can see the full picture. Those of you familiar with the AL-INJIL understand what I'm talking about, because they're actually not there. That's where they were when they're in JCPOA, but they're not in JCPOA anymore. Actually, before brothers and sisters, I don't want anybody. This is very important, so I don't want anyone to be confused here. Not at all. I want no one to be confused. I want no one to be confused. Oops. I want no one to be confused. Okay, do it this way. There you go. Do it that way. Okay. This is where they were in the JCPOA. They was under the foot of the nations, like it says in chapter 11. That's Iran and Syria. There's two witnesses. They're under the foot of the nations. They're not there anymore because they was under the UN. See, that JCPOA was basically a UN under UN authority, right? I mean, it was initiated by America, but it was under UN authority, the UN proclamation or whatever, right? And directive. So this is where they were. See, and then once Trump broke the treatment, broke the deal, then they're here now. See, so they're pushing against America and Britain and false Israel. The friction. Okay. So now their plan was to attack us before the war with Iran. Let me back this up and make sure you understand this. But this is very, very important. Everything's important. But this is something I've been holding back. Because once you understand it, you should realize why I'm doing it. See? So just remember this. This is Iran and Syria, right? They actually should be here, like I just showed. But I'm leaving here so you see the whole picture, right? And it says that they went and attacked, right? They attacked us and all blacks. They attacked us, all blacks, right? Before the war, and then after the war, right? Then they go to war. Then this is before the war, and then they go to war. So they attack us, and then the war. Then they go to war in the Middle East. They attack us first, get rid of us, and then they go to get the war in the Middle East, basically knock out the Muslims, and all Muslims. First, want to get rid of us. That was their plan. Get rid of us first. That is their plan. And they're still trying to execute that plan. See, but Master Muhammad is going to intervene. See, so that's from JCPA. They're here right now. See, and this is what he does. See, he attacks first. See, and again, brothers and sisters, bear with me. We're going to get this right. I'm going to get it right in a minute. I'm going to get it right in a minute. Oops. I'm going to get it right in a minute, but it's very important here. Oh, no. It wasn't wrong, but I want to show every detailed step because it's very important. I don't want to, I'm cutting some corners, but I don't want to cut all corners. And I realized that I might be cutting a corner that might cause a little confusion there. So I'm just going to round that corner back out. Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay, there you go. Okay, that should work. Okay. Okay. Remember I said this was JCPOA, right? And when Trump came along and killed it, right? Brothers and sisters, I maybe need to stop this and start over again because what am I doing here? Okay, I see what I did. I see what I did. Okay, here we go again. This is JCPOA. They was under for the nations, right? Trump killed it. Now they're here. This is where they are right now. So they're pushing up against. See, they also call the winds. They're pushing up against America and Britain and false Israel. There's a conflict, and they think they're going to war. I mean, they talk about war, going to war. They tell them there's two things they talk about going to war. Three things: Russia imminently, Iran imminently, and China pretty soon. And I've been talking about this for 30 some years. Okay, so this is where they are right now, right? Okay. This is Master Muhammad's plan. He's going to war first before they eat. He's going to war before they eat. That's why I said in chapter 6, right? The figs, right, is a great wind, right? And the wind caused the figs to fall before they was right, before they, because I mean before they, their time, before they was ready. See, so it's this their plans, because the figs, right? The figs represent America and Britain, you know, and when they fall, it means, you know, they hit the tree. That's what it's talking about, right? It says, but before they was able to do that, the wind blew. The war started. See, before they was able to do that. And we're going to talk about why that happens. So then, once they do that, then what happens? Then they attack us. See? Then they attack us. See? And that means American, and And at the same time, that means they fell. See? That's added, I said Babylon fell. So at the same time, they attack us and they fall. At the same time, you saw about Babylon fell. So at the same time, that's when America gets to war with Russia and the EU. We talk about that. And also China and Korea. See? So as soon as that war takes place, that's from Hamas war. As soon as that war takes place, then these things happen. Okay? And false Israel is left. That's called a desolation, abomination of desolation we've been talking about. See? So when you see that happens, abomination of desolation, flee. It says flee. Flee for your lives. It says flee for your lives. Why? Why flee for your lives? See? Why flee for your lives? Because you're under attack. Not by the army, not by the Navy, not by the police force, because it tells you have to flee instantly. So I mean, because they would take time to come after you. Why do you have to flee instantly? Why do you have to flee instantly? See? Because your next door neighbor is going to be attacking you. See? Your next door neighbor that's going to be attacking you. Hold on, bro, says I have to check something for a minute. Pardon that, brothers and sisters, but there's someone at the door. Now I'm going to go into a little detail here. Because if we talk about the abomination of desolation, I said I'm going to talk about that a lot. And I'm going to a certain details that you wasn't aware of. Because when you see that, it says when you see the abomination of desolation stand in a place where it should not be, flee. Why is it telling you to flee? Don't not go back in your house. They're telling you to flee from the police force because they have time to come after you. And they can't come after everybody in the country, all the blacks in the country. They ain't talking about the military because they would have time to come after you also. So they ain't talking about the military. They talking about your neighbors. Because when they see this, they say, when you see this, that means that their destruction, false Israel, is about to take place. And when it does take place, your neighbors are going to try to kill you because it's going to be clearly evident, no doubt about it, that you're the true seed of Abraham. And when that's going to take them a half a second to calculate that, that means they're not the people they've been pretending they are. Because they've been claiming false Israel is the true seed of Abraham. That they did that identity theft, right? Because when it was told them that we were the true seed of Abraham, they had to come up with a narrative because we had the proof. We had the proof that we were. Elijah Muhammad had the proof, the evidence, and the legality to prove that we were the true seed of Abraham. So they had to, because we get 40 years, foreign land, the whole 9 bits, whole 9 yards. So they had to counter it. They had to find a way to counter it. So they said false Israel in 1948. It's been 73 years. And the whole idea is if they the true seed of Abraham, once they're established here, they can never be destroyed. It says they would have no walls around them, they would live in peace. That has not been that case. But anyway, that's the prophecy. So that means they cannot be destroyed because God is protecting them. But it says when you see this, it says they're about to be destroyed. The truth is about to be manifest. Because based on what the Europeans are telling us, that they're the true seed of Abraham, we are Ham. Well, I'm not going to deals about that, but Abram and Ham, because he was first called Abram, and then they called Abraham because they was united with his people that they was calling Ham, and no strong together. But if we are the true seed of Abraham, then who are they? That's the point, because they claim that we evil, that this is the promised land, that we were supposed to have been born slaves, we was cursed to be slaves. You know, was Seth. Seth was Abraham was Noah's son, and he was cursed, so it passed on to his seed, which was Ham. There's to be slaves forever and ever. So, and it was cursed black. That's so they gave him justification for enslaving us, because that's what the Bible says. And justification for taking America, because America was the promised land. So in other words, they got this idea that they're doing God's will. But if they take false Israel down, that all collapses, because false Israel is the cornerstone of this reality, this lie that they got in their mind. See? So that means it collapses. Not only the false Israel collapse, but their mind, their whole ideology, their whole reality collapses. And what happens, what's behind is that we the true seed of Abraham. That means they're devils, they're evil. This wasn't the promised land. This is they come over here and commit genocide. They wiped out the people. That's exactly what the Bible said they would do. They would come out seeking to kill, steal, and destroy. That's exactly what the Europeans did when they came out of the Dark Ages, 1000. Better read chapter 20 again. They came out of the Dark Ages, at the 1000 being in the pit. They came out, they covered the whole world, Gog and Magog, right? Seeking to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's exactly what they did. They killed everybody. They took people's land, killed all the people, and they destroyed us as a people here. They're going to recognize that. The evangelists are going to recognize that. They're all going to recognize that. And then that means they're going to cut your throat. It's your neighbors you're going to be fleeing from. It'd be your neighbors. That's why you have time to go back in your house. Anything, it'd be your neighbors. Think about it. Who would you flee from? And from the police, I mean, they don't get all black folks. It's your neighbors, because they're going to realize who you are, and that's going to be a realization of who they are. And they don't want you to get away, because it already said you would get vengeance for what they did to you, and they know they did some evil stuff. This CRT stuff, they know. They don't want you to know. That's what that's talking about, brothers and sisters. So you remember when I told you about the story about Adam and Eve? Their plan was to destroy us before. So this says wind blow suddenly? It blew before it was time, because remember they covered themselves after they got rid of us. But this Iran and Syria, remember, at the closing, they come up before they had a chance to get rid of us. Because brothers and sisters, that's the time of Jacob's trouble. That's a warning. The warning us what they're about to do. Because when you see that, then you have time to flee. Because if you did the way they did it, you would never even saw it coming. So Master Farmer is giving you time, right, to flee. Now I'm gonna go into some science, some mathematics stuff here, some science stuff here to get you to bring this home to you. See. So before I do that, let me show you the next step here. See? That's when false Israel is no more. That's that time it's too late. But if you're still home when that happens, you're gone. See? Because they just took it out, and now they're gonna cut your throat. Understand? Because they can clear. It says when you see the abomination about to go down, right? That's why we have to make you understand what the abomination of desolation is. So when you see it, Israel sees an army surrounded, then you know to flee in. Don't wait until it's taken down, because it might be too late for you. So it's a warning. But see, I'm gonna go back here to the beginning. No, it's not the end yet, brothers and sisters. What happened here? Oops. Okay. You see here? Drought. Now we have 76 trillion years of expansion, and some say less than 76 trillion years of contraction. They say the universe contracts faster than it expands. So we're not going to worry about that, right? We're not going to worry about that. Let's see here. So we're not going to worry about that right now. So we just say 76 trillion years in both directions, right? So that's 76, 77 is 140, right? It's 152 trillion years for a complete cycle. 152 trillion years for a complete cycle. From expansion to contraction back to expansion again. Now, in that period of time, there's one event that takes place that only takes place one time. So we go through this energy deprivation, but that's a 50,000 year period. That only takes place one time in that whole cycle. That's at the full expansion. But there's one other, right? There's actually two, where a time of self-imposed energy deprivation. Would that be a time of Farrakhan, when he'd be deceiving you, and they kind of get you this bind to the American dream, because now you have enough energy to be free, but you're wasting it, using it for other things instead of using it for your freedom, for your health, for your advancement, using it for Jay-Z and West and all the Farrakhan's BS, Scientology and all that kind of stuff, Sunnism. So that's the time of self-imposed energy deprivation that I told you about that you weren't aware of. See? But there's another time called Jacob's Trouble. See? I'm going to just leave it at that time of Jacob's Trouble. Because what happens is, every 50 years, we get the energy wave in the contraction. The first positive one we got was like in 1865, and that caused us to break our physical chains. We got another about 50 years later, about 1910s, around that area, right, which caused us to start breaking our mental chains, because we started getting people like Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, Elijah, Master Muhammad. We started breaking our mental chains. Then 50 years later, broke our social chains. That was so-called what do you call it? Civil rights movement. Now we're 50 years later. We're gonna break all chains at this point. But see, the problem is that when the energy comes, it's like it rains. When it rains, right? Say if it rains once a year, then it rains and all the animals and plant life and everything, they suck up that rain, right? So when it rains the next year, if there's still water there, then everything's happy. Keep going, don't miss a stroke. But if they use it all up, say it rains every day, every year in March, beginning of spring, but they use it all up in January, that means February, whole month of February and half of March, they don't have any water. There's a drought. They don't have any water. There's a drought. That means some animals are starving. The plants are wilting. Some animals are dying. The buzzards flying overhead because they can't make it. Only the strongest animals are able to survive, right? That period, that whole month, without any water at all. There's absolutely no water because they use it all up before time. So if you got a whole lot of animals, a whole lot of plants and stuff, because you only get so much energy. Each energy wave has so much energy that is absorbed by the earth. It says it's momentous in the heavens and earth, but it comes to you but of a sudden. That means it has to come from it's momentous. It's an energy wave resulting from the Earth's universe's contraction, right? It's absorbed by the Earth. The Earth converts it into a form that we can use, right? Energize water, energize air, right? So forth, so on. The soil is energized. And it's only so much. So your thing is you don't want more people absorbing it than there is water for that year, for 50 years. So what if you absorbing it, and then, what if you're absorbing it, and then it runs out 6 months before the next one comes? What if all the energy from 50 years ago is all absorbed, 6 months or a year before the next one comes. That means you got a whole year of drought, energy drought. What does that do? That sets us back because we was in it. We resolved. We came out of energy deprivation in 1948. We had enough energy to maintain ourselves, right? Because energy deprivation means you don't have enough energy to maintain yourself. You definitely don't have enough to maintain society. We have enough to maintain ourselves, but still have enough to maintain civilization. See, to be united. We had enough to maintain ourselves. That happened in 1948. That's at the birth of the Antichrist, right? And the Christ, right? Okay. So now you're 50 years later, and you come to a situation where you use it all up before time. That means you go back into energy deprivation again. You fall back into energy deprivation again. See, for that brief period. See, because you ran out of energy. But the people that don't need as much energy, right? The devils, because that's the whole reason why they was made, because they didn't have to go to energy deprivation, because we like Lamborghinis, but they are like Volkswagen Beetles. They didn't need as much energy as we did. See? Now I'm not saying exactly that we use all the energy. I'm saying because the Earth takes energy and it converts it, but it does it at a certain rate. So in other words, it converts so much energy a day that we can use it and do it all at one time. See? So it takes energy and converts it, and it converts so much a day. But when it goes low and low, it can't convert so much. So it gets to the point where it converts very little. But see, it's not enough for us, but still enough for KV. Now, understand this point very clearly. Maybe I should have did a graph on this. But when we was going to energy deprivation, say for instance, we receive 100 units of energy every day. See? No, we receive 75 every day. We receive 75 units of energy every day. But we required 100. But the KV only required 25. See? So if we required 100, that means we was 25 short. That means we would suffer energy deprivation because we were 25 units short, because we was receiving 75, but we need 100. But KV, he 50 above, because he only needed 25, but he got 50. So he got money, he got energy to disposable energy, he got energy to rule, he got energy to do things. We don't have enough energy to maintain ourselves, right? But say it went down to 50 units a day. See, at that point, when it's 75, right, he has control of us. He has control up to 25. He has control up to that 25 cent that we don't have. See, so he has that much control of us. But what if it's only 50 units a day? That means we have 50 units of energy deprivation, but KV, right? See, he only needs 20. He only needs 20 or 25. So he still got 50, right? But he has more control of us than he did before, because we have less energy deprivation. So he can do more to us than he did before. See? Now if it goes down to 25, then we're in real bad shape. KV's still, he's not still energy deprivation, but he has so much power over us, he can actually wipe us out and just kill us. See, that's the way it works. And you think in the direction of energy that you have. That's a whole nother subject I need to talk about, but I haven't found a way to talk about it in a way that's easy for people to understand. Right? So when KV when it's only 75 and we need 100, and then he thinks about us in a certain way. See, because he have control of us, but that's the only authority he's going to have, is have that much control, because that's all the power he really has. So he can think greater than the power that he has. But when he gets down to 50, he hates us more, because he has more control of us. So his thoughts of us are more dramatic. But when he gets down to 25, we have 75% energy deprivation. He starts to kill us, to wipe us out. You see? Because we have nothing, we have no energy at all, and so his thoughts change relative to his relativity to us, his energy relativity to us. I don't know if you understand that point. I need to work on it, explain it. But the reason I'm saying that, because when we go to this brief period to my Jacob's trouble, when we go to that drought period between they basically ran out of energy before time. So, because this is dramatic. There's no energy left. That means we down to almost zero. You see, that means they, at that point, they thought to totally eradicate us, and they had the power to do it. See, they think the radicals could have the power to do it. Maybe I should put it that way. What you have the power to do is the level your thoughts are. Your thoughts are level at the level of the power. Your thoughts are consistent with your power, with whatever power you have to do anything. See? So when they had the power to slave us, right, your thoughts was to enslave us. You see, because they had the power to do it. See? But when they go this period, they had the thoughts to kill us because they would have the power to do it because we have no energy whatsoever. Because we're in a point of joy, but they're not. Hope you understand that concept. See? So you think along your thoughts are consistent with your power to do. Because what you think, that's what you do, right? So your thoughts is consistent with your power to do whatever you do things. So when they had the power to, when they had the power to destroy us, when we down zero energy deprivation, right? Then their thoughts is to kill us because they had the power to do it. And that's what happened during this period. Because this is the one time, and because one reason why this happened, because there's so many people, there's 8 billion people on the planet. There hasn't been that many people on the planet for over 50,000 years. So you got all these people sucking up the energy that's coming this time. So they use it up before it was ready. Use it up before the next energy wave that has hit the Earth already. It just hasn't finished converting energy to form we can use. It's here. We just haven't received it. It says it's momentous in heavens and earth, but it comes to you but of a sudden. So it takes a while for us to realize it. But when we do it suddenly. So we right here at this drought period, and they had the power to kill us. See? So that was their plan to do that. But see, Master Muhammad said that's why it says these days need to be shortened. He said they would happen before time, unexpectedly, that these days be short. Why? Because Master Muhammad has to move first. See? Let me go ahead and show that. This helps, brothers and sisters. This is Adam and Eve. That's their move. See? But he has to move first. He has to move first. Why? He moves first, right? To warn us. It's a warning. Because when we see, that's why I say we see bombings that's ready, flee. Flee, because they're getting ready to wipe you out. It's a warning. That's why those had to be short. It said those days were not shortened, no soul would be left alive. But only for the elect's sake, his days were shortened. So he had to make a move before they did, before they had made their move. That's why it says that wind blew before they was ready. The fig trees were ready. That's what Master Muhammad doing. He's making that move because that's time of Jacob's trouble. Because that's the time, that's the only time in history where the original man can be destroyed. Right now. The only time. And Master Muhammad is our savior because he's the one who's going to stop it. Because he's going to warn, and that warning allows you to flee, and a lot of people will flee, and that's, but a lot of them ain't going to flee, and most of the people are going to be destroyed in that, but most of us going to get away. The elect is going to, they're going to be saved. Most of the people will be saved because of that warning. Because the days were shortened, because that wind blew before it was time. It made the fig trees do what they was going to do before they was ready to do it. That's a warning. That's what my Master Muhammad is doing. So by taking false Israel down before, that means we see it. Right? So that means that's a sign to us to get out of town because they're about to destroy us. I hope I'm making this clear, brothers and sisters, because this has been heavy on my mind a long time, but I couldn't talk about it until now. You can see why I couldn't talk about it now, because this is where we are right now. This war with America and Russia over there, that's not America and Russia. That's not the war. It's close. Because that war, it says, the war with Iran, that those are still Michael's angels. The war with them and the dragon, that will occur first. And that could happen any day now. But it's a warning because that's why it be a time of Jacob's trouble. That's time that he could be destroyed. But he said he'll be delivered by man. So he's the true Savior, not Farrakhan and all these other clowns. He's the one that saves us. For the sake of the elect, he does it. It says, or no soul will be left alive. But they was going to wipe us out. They tell you no soul will be left alive. They was going to wipe us out. They're planning to do it right now. See? But he's going to act before they have a chance to do it. If you read Adam and Eve, they did it before. They was going to do it before they had the war. And then they was going to go take out Iran and Syria. That was the second move. See? And then they was going to get in the war with Europe. That was their plan. Their plan is first, right, to take us out, go wipe out the Muslims, and then go and take out Russia and China. That's their plan. That's their plan. Because we do this trouble. They can't take care of us anymore. They're going into a new society, into an automated society where they don't need you. The only reason they stopped slavery because they went to industrialized society where they didn't need you anymore. They threw you off the farms. So they didn't give you anything. They didn't need you anymore. They got machines and stuff. So now they got these computers and stuff. You ever been at Walmart lately? They don't need you. What are they going to do with you? They don't keep giving you money. We give you, they fool you. Or you get all this money. You think they keep doing that? They don't need you anymore for anything. So the point is to get rid of you. You're just trouble, and you're reminded of who they are and all the stuff they did. You're troublesome. See? But you don't see that. See, you can't think that far. These people think practically. They're analytical, they think practically. They say, we need to get rid of these people. We don't need them anymore. But you think they wouldn't do that. Well, they slaved us, right? They came to the idea, oh man, we need some free labor. So let's go and take these people. We didn't care. Children, family, we didn't care. But you think they wouldn't do that? What did they do to the American Indians? They destroyed all of them. And you think they won't do it to us? See? Because the demons got your mind thinking, oh, daddy's okay. See? Master, because that's their daddy, see? Master. So I hope you pay attention. Brothers and sisters, please pay attention to this. Those of you that wake up, that's awoke, right? You need to go in the case and warn our people. Because that's what they're playing at this moment. The scriptures tell you that. And Master Muhammad's going to make this move before they had a chance to wake you up so to save as many as possible. But he said, he didn't say none would die. He didn't say none would die. He says, but for lack of knowledge, our people was lost. He didn't say all of them, but he didn't say a few anyway. He says, my people are lost for lack of knowledge means a lot of people. And it says, if their days weren't shortened, no soul be left alive means a whole lot can be killed. If their days weren't short, I mean, no soul would be left alive. It didn't say none would always survive. It said no soul would be left alive. Why would no soul be left alive? Who's going to get rid of them? Why are they telling you to flee from your next door neighbor? Because they're going to wipe, they're going to cut your throat. And then the government's going to come in, they got a secret plan because now things didn't go the way they wanted. They didn't go in sequence they wanted, so now they have war with Russia. So they're going to put you in concentration camps. They're going to line you up. That's where the government comes in. But they're going to tell you the reason they're doing it because they protect you from the public, from the citizens, the white citizens. They're protecting you. And a lot of you are going to go for it. And then they're going to take your sons and daughters, your daughters too, and send them over to get killed, wiped out in that war in Russia. But they'll also be fighting Western Europe because they're going to turn back on them. This is what's happening, brothers and sisters. That's the time of Jacob's trouble. That's the plan. Obviously, now you see why I never spoke of this directly, this clearly until now, because we are right there. They have a plan, and Allah has a plan. Allah is the best of planners. Their plans, and the thing is, he has to make his move. At that time, he makes his move, right? See, at that time, right after that, then that's when the folly, right? Right after that, see, after we flee, after that, then that's when the rain comes. We finally start getting that energy, see? In other words, it was a drought. We're waiting for the rain, and the rain finally comes, and that's the birth of the nation. Then the rain finally comes. But that little brief period where we're going through the drought, because right now, remember, we had energy deprivation again. And that's why all kinds of bad things, some of you have been experiencing it, because me, everything that can go wrong in my life is going wrong right now. I almost died twice in the last 2 months. I got all kinds of, you don't have an idea, I got all kinds of issues. Everything that can go wrong is going wrong in my life right now. And I know it because we're back in energy deprivation again. It's that little short period of time that will never happen again. And because you got so many people on the earth, they sucking up all that energy. So we run out before the next rain came, the next energy wave came. So that we suffered, and we suffer the most, right? And right now, like I said, personally, everything in my life is just to get this, all the trouble I had to go through just to get this video to you, just to get this presentation to you. So you don't have no idea what's going on in the background. Everything that you can think of in my life is going wrong right now because I know we're in the drought, that short period of time. But once you get past that short time, it will never happen again because Master Muhammad will get rid of 8 billion. So you can have 8 billion sucking down the energy level we're about to receive. See? So the next time it comes, we have plenty of energy already in reserve. So we'll never see that drought again. We'll never see it again. We're going to see it one time. That one period of time we're going through right now, we see it one time in history, and that time is the only time they can kill the original man and woman. The only time they could do it, because he's down to 0 energy deprivation. The only time they could do it, and that's when they plan to do it, because you think relative to how much energy you have, relative to everyone else. So they had the opportunity to do it. But Master Muhammad, he's our savior. He makes his move to warn you, because you wouldn't normally see it coming. That means as many survive as possible, because you don't have to survive that much longer, because soon after that, then the rain comes. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So if you experience all kinds of things in your life that don't make sense and bad things and the outside, that's what's going on, brothers and sisters. Don't let it bother you, right? Because that means the rain is very close. But we're going to go through this. And so the one time, that's why I call it Jacob's trouble. The one time he could be destroyed. The one time the original people could be destroyed. At one time in history, it will never happen again out of the whole 156 trillion years. At one period of time, which lasts few months. I'm not sure exactly. I know it lasts at least a couple of months because I've been here since December. My life's been total hell. See, but I know to protect myself so I don't go totally messed up, right? But everything that go wrong has gone wrong. Everything, period. And that's a fact. See, like I said, I came to death. They're close. The first one, they said they don't know what happened. They said they don't know. They said I was totally zapped. They said I was like. But from their point of view, where is that? From their point of view, I was what do you call it? Burnt out. But burnt out means you have no energy, don't it? You know what I'm saying? That is it. I had no energy to do anything. I had no energy to do anything. I just laid down on the couch for 3 weeks, didn't eat anything, right? Then just laid. I had no energy to do anything. And the energy deprivation, I had no energy for 3 weeks. Almost died. They took me to the hospital. I was on my deathbed. I almost died. I called out the Master Muhammad. I said, you got to help me. I don't know I've done everything I can. And I got an answer. And then they ended up taking me to the hospital. Right? And then they said I almost died there because I had a blood clot. They said a little blood clot from my ankle all the way up to my groin. And they said it broke off and got into my lungs. I was coughing like crazy all the time. They said it was on the way to the heart. 2 times. I've never been in hospital that much, never been that sick in my life. But I laid there for 3 weeks with no energy whatsoever. None. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't walk. I lost my voice. I couldn't even talk. Now, if that's not energy deprivation, what is it? I had no energy whatsoever. See? I'm living on borrowed energy right now. See? I know how to get around it. And when I came out, I was on a walker for about a week. I couldn't walk. I had to use a walker for a couple of weeks. My legs still swollen. See? And that's this brief period. It's almost over. So it looks like it lasts about 2 or 3 months. But we know I started back in late December. So that's all of January, almost all of February. There's wars about to break out any time now. The real war. First the Middle East and then with Russia. That's the real one. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. Like I said, it took me a while to talk to you about this. Now you can understand why. See? Because that would interrupt their plan. They might come with a different plan. So now their plan is already, now their plan is about to be interrupted. And interrupted just to save it. Many of us popped up. It's a warning. That's why it says when it says, when you see this, that's a sign. That's a warning. When you see the bomb, run. That's a warning. When you see that, run. Why? So those that listen, those won't be those that will survive. But many will not see it and be destroyed. Because if those days were not shortened, no soul will be left alive. It says that wind blew and caused them the figs to cast before they was ready, unripe, before their plan was able to institute their plan, they effect their plan, install their plan, activate their plan. You understand, brothers and sisters? You better think about this very carefully. And those who understand it, that's your obligation to let everybody know. Because the more people know, the more people will be saved. Because this is life and death. Think about it. This is what's going on, brothers. I hope you understand. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. We see it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.